The ants always carry a bigger crumb. They don't settle for the little. They go for the big, buddy.
Así que maximiza tu adversidad. Maximiza, 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 maximiza.
Get ready for God's impartation of salvation, healing, and deliverance. And now, from our KG Worship Center in Orlando, Florida.
Y si Dios lo hace conmigo, ¿por qué no lo puedo hacer contigo?
And my Bible says that He is my rock and my salvation. Salvation, 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 salvation. Preach all I want, and if you don't have a hope in heart to receive what God says, you'll go home the same way. You know? But I know that we don't got people like that here, right? We want a word. We want a word. Give me that word. All right. This is a very interesting situation here we have in the book of Luke, chapter number 5. Is it me, or every time Jesus wants to deal with his disciples in a deep, impactful way, isn't he always on a boat? It's just like the boat is like a place where Jesus would encounter his disciples and teach them a lesson that they perhaps did not know before. And this is what's happening. And today I want to speak about casting your net in the water this year. Because that's what's holding you back. You're not casting out your net. You're not believing. But what does that mean, Pastor? What are you talking about, casting out your net? Become busy in what God has called you to do. Become active in what God has called you to do, what He has purposed you for, and begin to work in that area so you can start seeing some fish in your life. And fish could be a healthy marriage, because some of you in here, and some people out there, and some people everywhere are having problems with their marriage, right? Because it happens. Why? Because we live in a world where the prince of this world is Satan. And the number one thing that Satan wants to do is destroy marriages. Why? Because if he destroys marriages, he can destroy families. And if he can destroy families, there is division. And where division is, God can't be. Period. When there's strife and division in a family, there can be no blessing. All there is people being selfish and worrying about themselves. And the number one thing that man is always capable of doing is blaming their mistakes on other people. I believe it's just part of our nature. When something goes wrong, you always want to find a way to just point the finger at somebody else. Well, you know, if he wasn't so lazy, we would be living in a nicer place. And I want to challenge you today and say, instead of you worrying about somebody else's net, why don't you start casting out your own net and see what God can do for you? And if He can do it for you, then maybe He can touch somebody else. And that's the problem. We live in a society where everybody wants to point fingers at somebody else. The economy goes bad, everybody points the fingers at the president, Congress, this and that. Well, if it wasn't for that president, we wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe. Maybe if you would have dealt smarter with your money. Because I tell you what, not everybody's broke in America. There's people that are doing just fine, no matter what the economy is. What did Adam do the first time he got caught doing something wrong? He hid. He was hiding. And that's what happens to some people. The first time they do something wrong, they just go hide. Bishop's coming? Pastor's coming? Tell him I'm not here. Tell him I'm not here. And when you talk to them, the first thing they do is, well, you know, she told me this and she hurt my feelings and I can't do nothing about it anymore. Yes or no? Or he, or the pastor, or I got offended, or anything like that. What are you doing with your net? And look what was happening to the disciples here. Look what's happened to the people in Simon's boat. Jesus wasn't talking to anybody else's boat. He was talking in Simon's boat. Simon's got a boat. Say, I got a boat this morning. And Jesus is about to step into my boat. And when Jesus stepped into the boat, he saw something that really bothered him. What did he see? He saw them washing their nets. Now, I'm not a fisherman, and the times that I've gone fishing, I've caught tiny little fishes like this. I don't know anything about catching big fish. But I'm assuming here that while they were washing their nets, they gave up. They were washing their nets. I don't know I'm almost sure that they weren't washing their nets before they cast it out into the sea, because that would be kind of dumb, because the net's going to get dirty again, right? But they were washing their nets, and washing their nets was a sign of defeat, a sign that they have given up. And there's many people in here who have given up on what God has given them because they don't see nothing happening. They're washing their nets. Marriages, washing their nets. Relationships, washing their nets. Ministries, washing their nets. And before they were washing their nets, psychologically speaking, they already gave up. Washing of the nets was just a result of the decision that they already made in their hearts. Marriages. People have made decisions without telling the other person how they feel in their hearts. Sitting at a dinner table, looking at them, pretending, making a decision that they already left. Washing their nets. People in situations washing their nets. They gave up on catching the fish. And you know why? Simon was hurt because he was a fisherman, and that's how he made his paycheck. Oh, when you touch somebody's finances or when you touch their money, things begin to happen. People start to act funny. Yeah. And then here comes Jesus stepping onto the boat. Hey, what's up, y'all? Let me just talk to these people right quick. Let me get into this boat. And you imagine Simon was like, just clean that area of the boat. Now he's going to come with his dirty sandals. Let me tell you, he's going to come with his dirty sandals from the sand into my boat. And I don't know if you know anything about boating, but when you go boating, you kind of have to push the boat into the water and then kind of run and jump in, right? Because they didn't have a dock. They were just pushing the boat. Come on, Simon, get in. Got in. Yeah. And now here's Peter, and he's being inconvenienced. Inconvenienced. Because he already had parked the boat. He's washing his nets. And here comes Jesus. Hey, push the boat off a little bit to the water. Let me talk on your boat. See, we don't see that. We just read right through, and we just think that Simon was like, yeah, it's okay, no problem. We'll clean that later. But you have to understand the mentality of these fishermen. This was their livelihood. This was their job. And if you don't catch any fish, you don't make any money. For some of you that watch the Discovery Channel, there's a show called The Deadliest Catch. Oh man, that's a job. Don't ever complain about your job until you've seen that job. And I promise you not, you ever watch that show? They fight on